My wife cheated 3 months before wedding, and I still married her. M/30F/24 4 years together. My wife cheated 3 months before our wedding, and I married her anyway. It started out as them flirting, and she came to me and asked me if it'd be okay if she had a fling with a female coworker. I have told her about crazy things Eve done, and she just wanted to have fun. I said okay, but I want to watch, even just a video. I don't need to be there, but if it's gonna happen, I want to enjoy it too. Well, she and them went behind my back and hooked up at work. I said I wasn't okay not being involved and to stop. She agreed and said it was over. After a night of her acting really weird a month later, I went through her phone. They were in a secret relationship. I love yous, miss you, want to cuddle you, and smell you in my arms. Giving each other stuffies they cover in each other's scents that my then fiancé said was just her present to a different friend. I confronted her with the messages and pictures and blew up. She convinced me to stay and forgive her and was sorry for falling in love with them. Still married her and let the girl she cheated on me with come to the wedding cause she has so few friends, and she cried. Let her keep her job where they work together. Let them still hang out, but I ask it strictly be friends, don't cross line. I searched her phone 2 times since I caught them flirting both times. I am suspicious when she's home late every day by 2 or 3+ hours. She says she's falling out of love with me cause how I'm treating her even though she's the one still flirting behind my back with them. I bawl on a highways telling her how I don't want to lose her, but I need to know she's committed to me and she swears she is, but today she goes into works, supposed to be a 2-hour day. She was there 10:30 to 6 p.m. Granted, they had to put an office animal down, so I kind of understood a couple extra hours, but this is extreme like every day she works. It was supposed to be sex night, planning for days, she comes to bed, rolls over, goes to sleep. I feel so horrible and ugly and fat and stupid for not leaving her, but I love her, and I'm a bitch who if I'm alone too long I become suicidal and clinically depressed. I think I ruined my life, and I'm afraid she's still cheating. She changed her passcode, but I can still get on her tablet. Should I act normal for a few weeks and check her tablet in secret and see if it's still happening? Or should I trust her and let it be? Or should I just cut my ties and ask for a divorce now? Been together 4 years, married October 2023.
Husband flirting. I feel like everything is falling apart. Last week my husband, 24 years old, brought up poly relationships very casually. I was half asleep and he just rambled for 30 seconds saying things like he just finds them interesting and sometimes wished he wasn't the jealous type. I was thinking what to say, but before I could he changed the subject. I couldn't stop thinking about why he brought it up. It made me feel crazy because I had been noticing signs like hiding his phone and being more distant. I knew I had to be wrong. He has been the type to think I'm cheating on him because of a dream he had or just started feeling like things were off. I've been nothing but loyal and have ensured him I would never break his trust, so I thought I was insane for thinking he might be. I finally asked him why he brought it up, and he went on to say that he had been flirting with a coworker, that he just liked the feeling of being wanted. He told me that nothing ever happened, just that he allowed her to flirt with him, but he didn't say anything like that back, but he didn't stop her, and that he enjoyed when she would say those things. I asked to see the messages, and of course they were on Snapchat. I could only see a day's worth, but I felt like my world was falling apart, even though it wasn't physical. I will add that I haven't been the greatest. I have been depressed and sad, and I have let that weigh on our relationship. I haven't given him the intimacy he wants, but also feel that he hasn't done it for me either. His love language is so different from mine, and every time we try to fix it we do okay for a month or 2 and then he stops, so in turn I do too, but he doesn't notice something is wrong until I stop. He mentioned that he didn't think this would hurt me so bad, that he is remorseful and that he would stop. We talked for a few days of me telling him how I can do better and work on myself, but I told him he needs to find a way to make it up to me and gain that trust back, but he replies saying he doesn't know how and I need to tell him how to fix it. I explained that it also wasn't just the flirting, it was that he hid it from me, that he never told her to stop, that he thought opening our marriage would fix everything before ever bringing up our issues, that he was seeking something that only I should be able to give, that I felt responsible, and that it felt unfair after all the times I proved my loyalty to him even though I've never broke it before. It felt unfair that he doesn't see it as hurtful as it makes me feel. It wasn't just the flirting. Regardless, because of his responses I felt like I was overreacting, so maybe I let this slide while still telling him that I'm hurt and don't know when I'll feel better, but that we both need to try harder for each other. Christmas Eve we spent with his family and I was in charge of dinner. I felt like everything was going great. He was there for me, helped me in the kitchen, we held hands, and it all felt like a huge relief. At one point he showed me a picture on his phone and her name popped up. She was texting him and had been all day. I felt like puking. I went outside and started to cry. He told me they weren't flirting, just chatting, and he told her days ago they couldn't flirt. I made it clear I didn't want him to talk to her, but he at some point added her back on Snap and started texting. I told him I didn't care what was said, it's the fact that he kept talking. After I told him I wasn't comfortable with that, I was screaming and crying, ensure that his family heard. I was embarrassed and hurt, so I walked home. We at least live in the same neighborhood, so it wasn't far. I left before dinner was ready. I felt like I ruined the night for everyone, and he didn't come home for another 4 hours, saying he was on the phone with his friend and lost track. He was afraid if he came home he would just get yelled at. I told him how it felt and that on top of everything I ruined Christmas. He assured me I didn't, but I know he didn't tell his family why I left, only that he had messed up and we had a disagreement. But I'm the one who left. I'm the one they could hear yelling and crying. I feel like they think I'm insane or abusive because who would walk out on Christmas? I didn't even finish cooking, leaving it for someone else to do. The next day we pushed aside our feelings and went to my family's Christmas. We both were able to block it out that the day actually felt kind of normal and enjoyable, but every time I'm not distracted I think about it and all I feel is dread. He is all I have. I do not have any close friends or family to talk to, and yes, that is my fault, but it doesn't change where I'm at right now. All I want is his comfort, but I also don't want it because I'm so confused about how I should feel. I need him and want him, but I don't know how to feel secure again. I don't know what to say when he asks what he should do. Even through this all, I had gotten him a Christmas present weeks before. I told him I had in hopes he would return the favor because he's not much a gift giver and I just wanted to feel appreciated this year. He mentioned not having gotten one yet but implied that he would. I did not get one yesterday. I texted him while he was at work today asking if he had any packages coming this week. He said no and asked why. I told him I just thought he mentioned ordering a gift, but I must have misheard. He replied saying he has yet to order it. He was waiting until we got paid. No apology or empathy. Not to mention we were granted $1,000 2 weeks ago. I told him we could use it for presents this year, and he got his gift for my sister for our secret Santa. He bought my mom a gift from his work, and I ordered my family's presents. I thought he would have gotten mine, but he didn't. I don't care for the material item. It could have been anything from a card to taking me to the beach or driving around to see the lights. It hurts that he didn't think of me, especially with everything we are going through. I haven't responded yet, so that last message is where we stand. ATM. I do not want to give up on our marriage. He's been saying the same to me. He's assured me I've done nothing wrong and that he did mess up about the flirting, but he's also said that while my feelings are valid, that he didn't think this would cause so much pain. I explained that if I had done that to him he would have left me based on how he's acted when I've been nothing but loyal. His response was he has been working on his jealousy with his therapist and that he no longer is that way and he would be okay with us having an open marriage. He emphasized that he did not ask because of this girl that he had been wanting to for a while, but it feels like she was what gave him the confidence to ask. I felt like I failed him and I was the reason he felt like he needed more. He assured me it wasn't my fault and that he screwed up, but while he says all these things he still can't seem to prove to me he cares. I don't know what to ask for because if I tell him how to fix it he will just do that so we can get better, not actually put in the work to show me he cares and wants my trust. I don't know what to do or say. That's probably why I'm here, so I can get advice from others, but I also need to vent. I haven't told anyone these details because I'm not close enough to anyone other than him. I hope writing this out will help me see the answer myself, but so far I still feel like there's a giant hole in my life. I think we're both to blame, but I want to feel better and just move on, but I can't force myself to stop my emotions.
My boyfriend has been cheating on me and I found out horribly. We had just came from my work trip from California and the love wasn't there, but we were still trying to work out. Fast forward to our first weekend back. I barely got back adjusted to the time change. He's acting different and not so loving and somewhat distant. He lived with me. So that Sunday I just wanted to be alone myself, so he went to the other room. Got drunk, starting singing from the top of his lungs late at night, keeping me awake knowing we both had to work early in the morning. I asked him multiple times to stop. He didn't care to stop at all. This went on until about 4:30 a.m. So the morning time comes, I wake him up for work, he's sleeping on the couch, and he's just blank, no emotion, no nothing. I dropped him off at work, but I suspected something wasn't right because he was so adamant about having my house key. Which didn't make sense since we get off the same time. So we didn't speak all day, he blocked me, and when I got off I got no call, so I knew for a fact he skipped work after I dropped him, not his first time. He didn't come home that night and I really didn't want him to. Then the next day he comes home at like 10 p.m. with the same attitude, not loving like he usually, not being apologetic or anything about staying out all night. So I happened to check his phone when he went to sleep and I see a message that looks like it was a reply to a message he sent, but deleted it, of course. So I went digging further. Come to find out he's been talking to multiple girls the whole time. So I tried to wake him up so he can leave. It's my house and if you're gonna cheat you need to go. Then I see something that completely made my heart drop. I look down at his white t-shirt and shirt under his hoodie and there is period blood all over it, not mine of course. I knew then the relationship was completely done. It's one thing to cheat, but he cheated in the most disrespectful way. So apparently he had taken sleeping pills and wouldn't even budge, so I had to figure out a way to get him out. I didn't trust him being in my house, he has stolen things in the past, even though he gives it back. Plus he could have the girl at my house for all I know. I was pacing back and forth trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with this guy who is dead to the world sleep. So I finally said, F it. I started to pack his stuff, everything he had, and put it out my door. Then I proceeded to drag him all the way from my bedroom to outside my apartment. After I got him out I felt so relieved and had to call the police anonymously and report that there was a homeless man in the building. They came and tried to get him up, no luck, so he ended up being taken to the hospital. Unfortunately the dirty dog was okay. And called me not even knowing what happened. After he went to sleep I told him what I saw and he didn't even apologize and wasn't remorseful at all. Then the next day he proceeded to bring the police to my house demanding some little things that didn't even matter, all to show off his new ride. It was a rental. So I basically found out he was cheating the whole time, lying the whole time, and his only intention was to hurt me when he met me. I feel good he's gone. But this is my second relationship with a narcissist back to back, so my mind isn't in the right place right now. It's like I'm not depressed or sad about the breakup, but my actions are saying otherwise, always in bed, drinking, constantly thinking about it. I just want to get over this and focus on me.
Wife cheated with coworker. My wife, 42, and I'm 44, have been married for 19 years. We have been together for 25 years. We have 3 great kids under the age of 14. In 2015 she lost her mother to cancer and in 2016 her father to cancer. This sends her into a deep depression. For the following 2 years I took care of the kids while she worked. Dead bedroom starts during this time. Nothing makes her happy. Now because she doesn't talk to me I start playing video games when the kids go to bed. After 2 years she starts coming out of her depression. She talks more and wants to do stuff with the family. We start being physical again. This went on for a year, then I lost my father. This sent me into a depression because we were very close. Like my wife I closed myself off to her. I started playing video games more and I ignored my wife. I never stopped saying I love you or giving hugs or take her out. We start sleeping in different rooms because our son had a medical condition where we had to keep eye on him at night. So I slept in his room. I moved my Xbox in there and played video games for a couple of hours till I fell asleep. Then COVID happens. My kids' school goes remote and my wife started working from home. My wife's job required her to start looking for supplies to reopen her business when the restriction stops. She starts working closely with another member of her company. After a few months she starts being distant and stops communicating with me. I try to keep telling her I love her and buying small gifts to show my love and appreciation. We decided that 20 to 21 school we would keep our kids at home to remote learn because our son had a serious medical condition. I was so busy with kids' school I really didn't notice the distance getting worse until much later. Dead bedroom starts again. Then in the summer of 2021 I start to work for Lyft because we needed extra money. I worked on the days she works from home so she could be close to our son's school. In the fall of 2021 I picked up this lady from the airport and drive her to her hotel downtown. During this ride she talks to her female friend on the phone about her meeting her AP to have sex because they are both in town for business. She said her husband at home with kids and is playing video game. They haven't had sex in over a year. He is too busy to know she cheating. I start thinking this sounds like us. So I started being more affectionate and more loving. I'm already a loving and affectionate person. Nothing distance is getting worse. I write a letter telling her I love her and I know there is distance between us. I want to work it out, but she has to willing to work on us. She said she will try to be better. For the next year she shows hardly any affection and doesn't want sex because her depression pills given her no sex drive. We barely hold hands, don't say she loves me unless I say it first. When we are in the car together she sleeps so she doesn't talk. D-Day was May 4th of this year. My wife went into the office. I went to work and I was texting her during the day, no response. Then she finally called me and I tell her I have been texting her all day. She tells me she never got my text because of the signal in her office. She has Google Chat, so I will message her there, it will show up on her work computer. No responses. She gets home and after we put the kids to sleep she takes a shower. This is where I finally broke down and checked her phone. Now May 4th is a big Star Wars day. May the 4th be with you. So I check her texts from me. It's true she didn't get them until she left the office. I check Google Chat, this is where I found her cheating. She woke up this day and messaged him on Google Chat all the May the 4th gifts. I am a Star Wars fan also. Did I get one? Absolutely not. So I checked all their messages and the affair has been going on for almost 3 years. There was tons of I miss you and I love you. I feel so stupid. I am completely devastated. This guy's moved to Kansas in 2020, but comes into office 1 week a month since he works remote the other weeks. I guess when they would have Zoom meetings with each other to get their business open he began to flirt. In the past guys would flirt with her, she would shot them down. This guy's wasn't as handsome as me. I'm not 10, I have a little dad bod. Maybe I'm a 6 to 7, he was a 4. She began to flirt back then, they would go to lunch together. Then the lunches turned to going to his hotel room for lunchtime sex and tell me she had work late to have more sex. I even saw a text to her friend saying the sex wasn't better. She just craves the attention. So I shot everything to myself. I didn't say anything. I was having surgery in the summer and needed her help. After surgery we had decided to move closer to family. She barely helped me look for houses. I checked her phone again in October. I guess the relationship came to an end in June before my surgery. He was mad that she was taking time to care of me and the kids. I was wondering why she became more affectionate and loving and wanting to have sexy time with me after I healed. Last week we got a huge argument because she started being distant and wasn't communicating again. So I yelled and told her I knew she cheated with a coworker. She denied and said I was overreacting. Then I shoved the evidence in her face. Then she stops yelling and putting me down and started crying. I just left and went to my sister's house. I came back home to be with the kids for Christmas. Then I will leave again. I told her I am filing for divorce after the new year. She cried and asked who will drive her to work and pick her up. Who will help her with the kids? I told her to ask AP. Then she starts crying more, saying we can work it out, do marriage counseling. I will seek full custody when I file the divorce paperwork, also alimony, and child support. 25 years I feel is wasted.